New York Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau just called out star role player Josh Hart on calling the team out for their own individual agendas, saying that they're not playing like a team, where Tibs told Josh Hart to go watch some film. And also, we have an update on Mitchell Robinson, who revealed the truth on his injury return, and we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. And if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe. It helps me out a ton. 28% of viewers are subscribed right now. Let's try to get those numbers up. Let's get to 12.5K by the playoffs at the very least. And I know we could do better, but let's jump into this as always, because we have a very, very interesting topic where Josh Hart got called out by Tom Thibodeau. So Josh Hart, as we know, I made a video on this and it's become pretty public news. Josh Hart called the New York Knicks out, basically saying that everyone has their own personal agendas and stuff like that, where they just need to focus and lock in as a team. And Tom Thibodeau did not like those comments from one of his true best players on the team. Josh Hart's having the best season of his NBA career, and he was really upset with the fact the Knicks were in a losing streak. Usually Josh Hart blows the losing streak off, saying we go through stretches, people think we're terrible, and then we break out of it. But Josh Hart seemingly was upset. And I even said that I think there's a chance it was about OG Anunoby, who declined to switch with Jalen Brunson when Brunson asked for one in the final possession against Detroit, a game the Knicks lost because they let up two open Malik Beasley threes at the end of the game. However, there's a world where it was just kind of aimed at the whole team together, and that he was upset the team didn't have a great team vibe. There maybe could have been more ball movement by everyone. Everyone could have just locked in more. There's a real world where what Josh Hart was saying was just we all have to lock in together, and we're not exactly doing that right now. Or he was taking a subtle shot at a specific player who maybe wasn't playing within the team and maybe trying to do more, do too much, not do what is asked of him. And Josh Hart has become this extension of Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff, where it feels like when he mentions stuff like that, you know Josh Hart is doing anything he can to win. That's the type of player Josh Hart is. As Steve Kerr said it, Josh Hart's a winner. That's the position he plays. The man just wants to win at all costs. And while Tom Thibodeau spoke on Josh Hart calling people out, and he said, or essentially, according to Stephen Bondy, Tom Thibodeau wants Josh Hart to consider his words in the wake of calling the team to drop their egos and individual agendas after recent losses. The coach said he was unaware of the comments, but urged his player to study film before making such assessments. And then also, Tibs himself said, I think oftentimes the next day after you look at film, you're putting a mic in front of someone right after a game, and sometimes they may say things. We all may say things that we wish we had not said until you watch the film the next day, and then there's usually a pretty good reason why something occurred. So before you say something, you should probably think. Tom Thibodeau, he's the head coach of an NBA team. Part of his job is putting out fires. It's like being the boss of anything. You're always like, your main job is you're putting out fires that other people are starting. That's one of the jobs that Tibs has to do outside of scheming for the Knicks and doing all that work. And mind you, there's a whole assistant coaching staff who's also working on that with him. Tibs is the head honcho here, and he's the guy who has to keep this ship afloat more than anyone. Now, Jalen Brunson's an extension of it as the captain of the Knicks. Josh Hart's an extension of it as Jalen Brunson's right-hand man, and just the way that Josh Hart plays, it's so team-oriented. It's the same thing as Draymond Green on the Golden State Warriors back in their miracle, or not their miracle runs, back in their unbeatable super team runs. And it's now we're seeing this with Hart, where he's an outspoken player. He wants to win. He'll do whatever it takes to win. He's not afraid to get down and dirty and do that dirty work that other guys might not do. And when the Knicks aren't winning and he's putting his body on the line, it gets frustrating. We've seen Draymond Green deal with this frustration as well. We've seen other players in history get upset when it's like, I'm diving into the stands, I'm jumping all around, I'm 6'4" and have more rebounds than anyone else since the new year. Why am I the one who is giving everything when the team is not and we're losing games? It gets frustrating for a guy who plays Josh Hart's role. And Josh Hart was probably upset and made some comments about it, which I think Josh Hart is more than allowed to do. Now, this season, Josh Hart was first in rebounds by a guard. He's not exactly a guard. As Steve Kerr mentioned, he's a winner. He plays any position, really, but he is the size of a guard. He's second in double-doubles by a guard, fourth in triple-doubles, and fourth in rebounds and assists, leading all players in rebounds since the new year, as I mentioned earlier. Josh Hart's just having the best season of his NBA career. There's no way around it, and frankly, you look at the way that Josh Hart has played, and you just have to love everything that he's doing. He hasn't done much wrong this year, and if you look at the numbers, you see that he's just been everything and more the Knicks could have ever asked for, putting up 14.2 points per game, 9.6 rebounds, 6 assists, getting 1.5 steals per game, showing elite defense. He's shooting 37% from 3 and 56% from the field. The man is playing phenomenal basketball. He's about to turn 30 years old, and he has not shown signs of running out of fuel yet. The Knicks need Josh Hart. He's an anchor of this team. He really holds everything together. He's the greatest glue guy in the NBA right now. It's not even really close. Now, if you put Bruce Brown on a good team, you'd see that Bruce Brown is right up there as well. But Josh Hart is the best glue guy a team could ask for, and he's really accepted this role with open arms. As a guy who's played multiple different roles throughout his NBA career, there was times when Josh Hart was averaging 20 points per game. When Josh Hart was on, I didn't know Tibs was going to come up there. Forgot to hit a button, and Tibs showed up. But Josh Hart, he's been on multiple teams. He's been on the Lakers when he was young, kind of doing the glue guy role, but also being a 3-and-D player. He's been on the Pelicans where he was doing a similar role to that Lakers team. Then he goes to Portland, and is putting up 20 points per game. Now in New York, he's putting up 14, 15 points while also just being the best glue guy we could have asked for, being part of that Nova Knicks team, and really embodying that New York toughness that's made New York accept him with open arms. Mike Breen has said it before. It's shocking to think about how short of a time Josh Hart has been on the Knicks. It feels like he's been on the Knicks forever. The man was made for this team, and you got to respect the work that Josh Hart is doing. Now, also, if this was about OG Anunoby, the man's putting up 16 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2 assists, getting a steal and a half per game, getting a block per game, shooting 47% from the field and 34% from 3. Anunoby's having a good season, but there is the thought that he might want more touches, and he's upset that he's not getting them. However, there's also a case that none of that is true at all, and that it has nothing to do with OG Anunoby, and Josh Hart was just speaking about basically anyone, or really everyone. He was probably talking about everyone in reality. So I don't mean to push any negativity towards OG Anunoby at all. I am a huge OG fan. I think he's excellent for this Knicks team. I think there's a very good reason why the Knicks traded away 2 flashy players in RJ and IQ, got back OG, and then just started winning games. OG Anunoby, just like Josh Hart, he's just a winner. The Knicks put together a winning team, and I really don't think Anunoby is holding this against him. I think he's been honest about wanting as much money as he could have gotten in his career, and he probably was a little bit upset that Mikal Bridges, someone who plays the same role as him, got traded to the Knicks with him thinking, okay, well now my shots per game are going to go down. You are going to have to pay me more, which is something that so many players have done that you cannot hold it against Anunoby if he even did that. However, we also have something else to talk about, because everybody's favorite swamp monster, Mitchell Robinson, has revealed a big update on his return. He's revealed the truth on it, and we're going to make this bigger so we can see it. Now, the Knicks have been linked to Jonas Valanciunas constantly, and I'm about to talk about it on a live stream later today, so tune in for Knicks Happy Hour as always. But as mentioned, the Knicks have a solid belief that Mitchell Robinson will return to the court soon, and there's also a world where they could look at Jonas Valanciunas if they feel like they need to move on from Robinson, to where Mitchell Robinson responded saying, I'm not going to say what I want to say, but it's all love. Mitchell Robinson is very outspoken on social media, and essentially he's saying here, kind of like, you better not trade me for this guy. I'm way better than him, which he is. Mitchell Robinson is better than Valanciunas. He's like, don't trade me for this guy. And Mitchell Robinson has been the subject of trade talks for a very long time. This is nothing new, and I don't think Mitchell Robinson is going to get traded. I don't see the point in trading Mitchell Robinson right now when his value is way lower than it usually is, because he hasn't played basketball in a very long time because of his foot injury. I think it makes more sense if you're going to trade Mitchell Robinson to wait till the summer after he comes back and balls out, and I expect that to be in a few weeks that Mitch comes back. He's about to be cleared to start running fully and practicing and contact practicing. We could see him in early February, which I kind of expected to now be a little later than early February. But I do think we will see Mitchell Robinson back sometime around February 10th. I also usually undershoot with injuries. I usually think guys are coming back later than they actually do. So I could be wrong here. But I do think we will see Mitchell Robinson sometime around February 10th. I would say the second week of February, look for a return from Mitch. And if that happens, then things will definitely be pushed in the right direction. Mitchell Robinson wants to play really badly for the New York Knicks. And speaking of Josh Hart for a while, there's a play that was being shown here that Mitchell Robinson is a part of. And Josh Hart mentioned they forgot we have a 7-foot demon loading. Everyone knows how important Mitchell Robinson is to this team, and once Mitch comes back, you have a 4-man bench. You have Deuce McBride, Cameron Payne, Mitchell Robinson, and Precious Achiuwa to go out there and play with this Knicks team and give the starters some rest. You still could use a forward of some sort out there. I would like it to be TJ Warren if possible. I think the Knicks should also explore trading Jericho Sims and a second-round pick for Alec Burks, like James Edwards suggested. I think that'd be a big win for the Knicks. Gives you a guy who can replace McHale and OG and Josh Hart for some minutes. Great shooter, great guy who knows how to play for the New York Knicks. It feels like a win signing or a win trade, but we'll see if that happens. The Knicks have only ever made one trade with Miami, and it was trading Pat Riley there for a first-round pick back in the 90s when the Knicks moved on from Pat Riley, which is really thought of as one of the major mistakes in Knicks history. So if Mitchell Robinson can come back, the team will look a lot better. There's no doubt about it. Mitchell Robinson is just a force to be reckoned with. I mean, Tom Thibodeau loves Mitchell Robinson a lot. He's someone who fits right in, and Tibs' defenses, they need a rim protector. That's how the defense is really built around. It's built around a guy who can anchor the defense, protect the rim, and get a bunch of rebounds. And Mitch is going to be more versatile than ever playing with Karl Anthony Towns, because you could play Towns at the 4 with Mitch and have a just ungodly rebounding duo right there, especially if Josh Hart's as well on the court. But also Mitch is a good replacement for Josh Hart in that sense, where you could slide Towns down to the 4 and have Mitch there, and you don't really have to worry about all the extra things Josh Hart does, because Mitchell Robinson does some of those things as well, along with being one of the best defenders on the New York Knicks. Remember, there's an argument that Mitch is the Knicks' best defender. When he comes back, the Knicks are very, very quickly, things are going to change with the New York Knicks. Now, Mitch is a career 8-8 guy. Last season was at 5-8, but also he was at 6 points and 10 rebounds per game with 1.5 blocks and 1.5 steals per game back when he was healthy, before going down and coming back too early from the injury, which did lead to him being out for a longer time. Now, the Knicks need the Block Nest Monster to be their best selves, and I think we are going to see Mitch in less than a month back on the New York Knicks court, and that is going to start a major run for the New York Knicks. But I want to know what you guys think down below. Do you think Mitch is going to have that impact? Do you think Tibbs was right to call out Josh Hart for this? Let me know down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.